Hello parents, today we are going to talk about expressions versus equations. Ask your child what is the difference between an expression and equation at least once or twice a year after 5th grade. The simple answer is that an equation has an equal sign. Here is a case where the question literally tells you the answer. For example, 5x plus 8 by itself is an expression. When it equals something, now it is an equation. Both expressions and equations are made up of terms, so the next question is, what is a term? A term is a number or a constant. In this example, it would be the number 8, or a variable or variables multiplied by a number. So again, in this example, 5x, x being the variable or an unknown, is multiplied by 5, and the two together makes up one term. Terms are separated by a plus or minus, so in this case, 5x and 8 is separated by a plus. Let's take another example. 4x minus y plus 8 plus x squared. Here's a case where there are 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are separated by a plus or minus. So 4x is separated from y with this minus sign, just like this negative y is separated with 8 with this plus sign. A variable that is a term has coefficients, or a number that is in front of the variable. So again, in this case, this negative y is the same thing as negative 1 times y. So therefore, the coefficient is negative 1. In the same way, for x squared, this is the same thing as 1 times x squared. So therefore, the coefficient in this case is 1. For the term 4x, the coefficient is 4. Both expressions and equations can have more than one variable, and variables can have a degree or power. So x squared, x to the second power, or x with a degree of 2 all really mean the same thing. One thing to notice is that in this expression there is an x and an x squared. Though the same letter is used for the unknown, because they have a different degree or power, the x squared is a different term than 4x. Any variable without a power you can assume has a power of 1, but this is generally not written. So in this example again, negative y or 4x has a power of 1. As I mentioned earlier, variables are separated by a plus or minus. When students have difficulty understanding this concept, some teachers tell students to put a line in front of the sign. So in this example, you can put a line here, and line here, and now the sign stays with the variable. So therefore, this negative stays with the y, this positive stays with the 8, this positive stays with x squared. Understanding all of these concepts is important when students start manipulating expressions or equations to simplify, find equivalent expressions, or solving for the equation. There are many ways to write expressions and equations, and for some students, all of these details can be challenging. So in my opinion, the best way to understand these concepts is to practice. Just like we forget the definition of a word if we don't use it regularly in our everyday conversations, kids forget all of the details related to expressions and equations and terms if they don't practice. I will make a separate video about some ways to practice math. There are some more details about defining a term, but for you as a parent, this is really enough. Understanding expressions and equations and terms serves as a foundation for pre-algebra, so encourage your child to know the language of math or math language so that they can understand what the teacher is saying when they start talking about combining like terms, isolating the variable, and solving for a variable. As your child moves on to the next math concept, they will have to understand a relation between an x and a y, or two variables, and why what you do to one side of an equation you do to the other side. I hope this short video helped you to understand expressions, equations, and terms. You don't need to know every single detail related to it, but if you understand a general concept, then you can help your child as they're about to go into pre-algebra. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.